When I tell people I am a consulting hypnotist, they always have a lot of questions about hypnosis and especially how it applies to my work with entrepreneurs. And so I'm going to take some time in this video to satisfy your hypno curiosity if you happen to be one of those individuals that would like to learn a little bit more about hypnosis and about how I apply it in my work with entrepreneurs. So, the first thing I want to talk about is some things that hypnosis is not. Hypnosis is not mind control. And I have to be honest, when I took my hypnosis training, I was a little bit sad that there wasn't a gold watch and way more mind control, mostly because I wanted to be able to control my own mind. However, what hypnosis is a way to access a state of consciousness or subconsciousness in the mind that allows you to work with all of the processes without that crazy chatter from our conscious mind present. And the reality is that there is nothing that you will be hypnotized to do, no suggestion I can give you in a hypnotic state that will have you do anything that is out of the norm for you. So when you see movies and when you see TV shows where people are hypnotized to commit crimes, unless the person that is being hypnotized is really naturally inclined to do that crime, it's not going to happen. So I cannot hypnotize you or control your mind to get you to do anything that will be out of your norm. So a lot of people struggle with this with hypnosis, sometimes from a religious and a belief standpoint, and other times just from an autonomy or the fear of being controlled standpoint. And I can tell you that nothing in hypnosis is going to be able to butt up against either of those things. It only can access what you naturally would be inclined to do and what feels good and in alignment for you. Hollywood has really been the culprit in people having these misconceptions. We'll see a lot in movies and TV shows about hypnosis being used to control people and being able to get them to do all kinds of crazy things. That's fiction. It is not reality, and it is not the way hypnosis really works. Another place that we sometimes encounter hypnosis that gets a little concerning for people, especially when they're new to coming to see me, is stage shows. So there's a lot of times that you may have been to Las Vegas and you've seen somebody get up on the stage and you've seen them do crazy things like dance like a crazy person or bark like a dog or bark like a chicken. So those things can be very disconcerting if you're not the type of person who would get up there and do that. However, here's what I know about stage hypnotists. They are really good at reading the audience and reading the people in the audience when they do that kind of pre-suggestion phase, in seeing the people that might be able to take those suggestions and really actually be in alignment with that type of showmanship. You know, they're usually the people who are the class clowns in high school, or people who maybe would have been the class clown if they didn't have some things that were inhibiting them from being able to do that. That is one thing that hypnosis does. Like I said, it'll get that chattery conscious mind that often shows up when we need to be publicly acceptable. It'll get it to go off and kind of sit over to the side for a little bit, and that natural showmanship ability will come up and show off. So even someone who you may experience as maybe not that being in alignment with them, maybe there was just that self-talk or that somewhat of a conscious fear that was released by the hypnotic state. And that really is who they are and how they would show up in the world if that wasn't kind of on top of how they presented themselves in their behavior. Now let's talk about some real truths about hypnosis. Hypnosis is all about being able to understand, interrupt, and shift the patterns that our mind produces that sort of drive underneath the whole system, how we respond in a situation or how we react in any given situation. My ultimate goal as a hypnotist, and actually in my other modality that I'm certified in, which is Gestalt, is to give you back your freedom of choice in being able to have compassion for yourself and being able to understand the world around you and being able to choose how you respond to any given situation versus gutturally react to that situation. So when hypnosis works with you, like when you're in that hypnotic state, you are able to better access your subconscious mind, which is also deeply in tune with your overall nervous system in your body. And that means that you can get an understanding about how your body is responding to any given situation, or how you might be able to talk to it about what it needs, or it be able to give your subconscious mind feedback that you can take forward and utilize in a way that helps your nervous system be able to support you in your life and business. I also hear people a lot say, you couldn't get me in hypnosis. There's no way I could be hypnotized. I just don't think it could happen. Well, another big truth about hypnosis is that hypnotic state is a really natural human state. We move in and out of it on a regular basis. So let me give you an example. If you have driven a car in your life for any length of time, I am sure you have experienced the weird sensation of arriving at a destination and not really knowing in the specifics of how you got there. And it can be a real panic moment, right? Because you're like, oh my gosh, did I stop at all the stoplights? Was there anything I really should have noticed? Well, let me set your heart at ease to tell you that in any given moment, your conscious brain would have stepped right on in had there been any reason for it. But your uneventful drive home allowed you to be able to let that conscious chatter sort of slip off to the side and really effectively drive the car, while the rest of your mind was able to wander off into thinking about a multitude of other things, whatever happened to be on your mind at the time. And again, if something would have happened, and if a car would have pulled out in front of you, if a cat would have run across the road, you would have completely been able to, in a split second, merge all of that back together and react or respond to that situation appropriately. The thing I want you to understand here is that the hypnotic state is a natural one for you, and you do move in and out of it on a regular basis. You do it when you watch a movie, you do it when you read a book. There's a ton of opportunities during the day when you actually move into a hypnotic state and out of it quite naturally and quite easily. For some of you, you really want to know the science behind anything that comes forward in your life. And hypnosis is scientifically proven, and it is respected by a lot of really respectable agencies, including the American Medical Association, the American Dental Association, and the National Institutes of Health. All three of these organizations recognize hypnosis as an avenue for pain control, for helping people through fear of medical procedures, and also for helping people who experience chronic pain be able to have a day-to-day life that is manageable. And I can tell you from personal experience, I know how effective hypnosis can be in managing pain. Just right after I had finished my certification in hypnosis, I was out hiking. I fell and hurt my finger, and I really thought I broke it. I had all of those experiences in my body that you have when you break a bone, that nausea, that crazy numb feeling, then followed by really acute pain. And I was able to sit down because I was about a mile from the house, and I was able to sit down in the woods, and I practiced what I learned in getting myself into a hypnotic state and numbing that finger, and just like being able to really numb the finger that was hurt. And honestly, that carried me not only all of the way back home with a pain-free experience, but I saw my friends off back to their destination after they left, and then all of the way through the trip to town to go to the ER to have my finger looked at. And trust me, that was a couple of hours that I had to keep that part of my body pain-free and numbed out. And even though I'm a huge believer in hypnosis, I was actually surprised at how well it actually worked. and how much now I'm able to manage some of the chronic pain in my body just using some very simple hypnotic techniques. Now, if hypnosis can help with acute pain and chronic pain and fear and phobias, imagine what it can do for an entrepreneur who has to work through an uncomfortable situation in their business, who is experiencing things that maybe bring up fears and phobias for them. And that's where Gestalt dovetails with this perfectly, is because we can go back and we can look at the background of that situation with that individual and really examine where it got started. And then we can deal with the consequences of that, not only through the experiential part of Gestalt, but also through the hypnosis techniques that handle what is kind of the fallout of that experience that happened in the past. So the two things work hand in hand to really give you a powerful set of tools as an individual to be able to process through things and also come out the other side super successful in your business, even with things that are highly difficult. So just to review here for a moment, I want to touch back on a couple of things. Benefits of hypnosis are well researched and documented. There's a lot of proof that this modality works scientifically. And even though I'm all for the woo-woo stuff and definitely don't think you need to have scientific proof if a modality works for you, this one does have both. It is also flexible and incredibly easy to work through in a therapeutic process for people. It does give you a greater sense of awareness, and it can really create meaningful change, which leads to happier lives and happier businesses. And then finally, it works really well with other therapeutic modalities. It can support everything from any type of coaching situation that you're in, any type of personal growth coaching or therapy that you're going through, all of the way through other specialized therapies like Gestalt. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis. Now, you heard me say that in the beginning, but I want to go back and revisit it here as well. Everything that you do in a hypnotic state is an inside job. Hypnosis is not some magic cure-all situation where you get hypnotized once and all of a sudden it's all good. Unfortunately, life does not work that way. Now, I wished it did, but it doesn't. And you have to actually participate and be willing and in alignment with whatever the hypnosis is about. Now, I will tell you 99% of my clients come to me in that state. By the time they get open enough to experiencing hypnosis and trying it as a therapeutic modality, they're certainly in the space where they're in alignment with whatever change they're wanting to make. And they're also willing to put in the work on both sides of the hypnosis session itself. In other words, being prepared, coming with that mindset of being open to change, and then practicing and continuing with their own home hypnosis therapy practice when they get home. And that is something I also dearly love about hypnosis, is that it allows me to give you tools, some that I have created that you'll utilize, like listening to me provide you with a hypnosis script that'll help you, that you can listen to at home when you're relaxing or going to bed, all of the way through physical tools that you can utilize to be able to get yourself through sticky situations or process through something or help you break a habit or embrace a habit that you want to continue. So know that there's work involved with you no matter what therapeutic modality you go through, and hypnosis is no different than that. And it is truly an inside job to create that change. I also want to address that hypnosis sessions may not look like what you think hypnosis sessions should look like. So we all have this thought of that gold watch moving back and forth, and the person being like deeply in a trance, in a chair, almost completely indiscernible from sleep, right? And that person waking up and experiencing massive shifts and changes. That's not always the way hypnosis looks like. Personally, I don't often go into a deep trance in hypnosis. Many times, I'm almost fully aware. Now, I'm a little bit into a trance, but I don't always go into a deep trance. And hypnosis can be just as effective for people who are not comfortable going into that deep trance. It also can be a really active process. There can be movement, there can be touch, there can be all kinds of different things involved in how your body experiences a hypnotic state. And finally, you may even have an activity that helps induce the hypnotic state. Coloring is one of them. And I will tell you other things that help induce the hypnotic state that you probably do on a regular basis is read and watch movies, storytelling, photography, any type of art activity. All of those are bordering on, if not completely going into a hypnotic state. And as a hypnotist, I can utilize those tools to facilitate your process of getting into hypnosis. And they're just as effective as those deep trance situations that you often see or think you should experience in a hypnotic state. And other ways that hypnosis may not look like what you expect is that it can happen virtually. One thing 2020 gave us was the ability to do a lot of things over Zoom. Therapists had to be able to start using and seeing clients over Zoom. Hypnotists were in the same boat. So we had to start learning how to see our clients virtually. And there are some things I'm really hesitant to do in a virtual session, but about 97% of hypnosis sessions, I'm happy to do virtually. And to be honest, I have a lot of really good success with them. And it allows me two things that are really important. One, I can work with clients that I couldn't get to in person for a period of time. My calendar gets pretty stocked up and I live in the middle of nowhere. So unless you're really willing to drive down here and spend time with me and I have an opening, it becomes really difficult to get one of those 15 to 20 minute hypnosis sessions with me when you really need it. Virtually, we can do it. Bada bing, bada boom, it's done. And also it allows me to respond more immediately to your needs. So virtual sessions are fantastic. Another way that I personally love to facilitate hypnosis is in a group. I love group gestalt and I love group hypnosis as well, especially if it can be conducted out in nature where you can feel super comfortable about really relaxing into the experience of the environment that you're in and allow it to play a part in your experience. A lot of people believe the myth that's on the screen right now, that hypnosis is just for weight loss or smoking cessation. So we've been told that hypnosis is good for these two things. And guess what? It is, but it's also good for a whole lot more. Obviously, those are changing an unwanted habit, but I'd like to go down the rest of this list with you real quick so that you can hear all of the different ways that hypnosis can be beneficial for you. It can help you overcome fears and phobias, and it's really good to help people manage their anxiety. It can be great for pain management and even childbirth. It can be perfect for people who want to up their career or sports performance, or people who want to look for stress relief and also are experiencing insomnia and would like to be able to sleep. We've already talked about dental and medical anxiety, but also overthinking and self-doubt, which tend to tie in with the one above it. Understanding your inner motivations and understanding your inner awarenesses are also really important. We can also interpret dreams and experiences, which are the subconscious really talking forward to us and processing through the things that our body and our conscious mind aren't really able to express on their own. And hypnosis gives us the ability to kind of deep dive into that and really see what the messages are that our body and our subconscious mind want us to be able to realize in the conscious and present moment. We can recover lost memories through hypnosis. We can also work on regression and inner child work. I have done those things with people where we've gone back and looked at what was a feeling and found the experience that went with it in childhood. Somatic body understanding, like what is your body trying to tell you? And when you start to listen to your body, there's a great book called The Body Speaks First. When you listen to your body, you're really able to process things a lot better physically. And you know what? Physical health is important for being a good entrepreneur. This is a taxing physical world in entrepreneurship. The stress can become overwhelming and it can play out all across your entire body system. And then also, we can get into some fun things with hypnosis, like vision questing. Maybe you don't know exactly where you want to go with your business or your life in the future. And we can quest and experiment and see where those things are for you so that you can make informed and conscious choices back when you're not in the hypnotic state. And of course, personal enjoyment and relaxation. I mean, who couldn't use a little extra relaxation these days? The things that I love about hypnosis are its flexibility and its ability to really mold into whatever my clients happen to need. I do carry a certification in hypnosis from the International Association of Counselors and Therapists. My Gestalt certification is from Touched by a Horse, and I am a master equine gestaltist, which means I've spent 4 years in studying that therapeutic modality. And I spent well over 300 hours studying hypnosis, and in addition to a lot of extra work that I did on my own since I completed my certification. I am also a proud member of the Energy Medicine Professional Association, which means I have insurance that I feel is necessary for any therapeutic professional to carry. So know that you're well taken care of. If you would like to experience hypnosis with me, most of my clients are entrepreneurs, but I am open to seeing people who want to work on something personal as well. But feel free to check out my website. You can scan the QR code to learn about my rapid hypnosis sessions, which start at just $44. Or you can go on over to KimberlyBeer.com and learn a lot more about me and how I approach entrepreneurship through knowledge and guidance and wisdom. Thank you for tuning in.